on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
They're right behind me.
Almost there.
What?
That's funny.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Yakima on Target. Yes, that is our open for our program. I'm here with Yakima's Mayor Patricia Byers. Thank you for joining me today.
You're
Patricia.
welcome, Sean. It's my pleasure.
Now, you were recently elected to the Yakima City Council and you were
Yes.
appointed as mayor by the rest of the City Council. How does
Yes.
that make you feel to be put in a leadership position both by the community and your peers?
Well, after the election in November, I felt, very honored
Right.
to be elected by my district by, a fairly large percent. That was very encouraging to me personally, that people saw my commitment to the city and hopefully my leadership skills and things that I had to offer in service to the city. So we were sworn in on January the 7th. We took our oath of office, and a short while after that, we went into our first council meeting, and at that point, I was elected mayor. So it's like jumping in, both feet, no slowing down. But I really feel honored, and I'm grateful that people have the understanding and view of me that they do. And this is not, I'm not bragging on myself,
Right.
because it's not the person that I am. But I've been involved for a long time, and I'm a very capable person. So I feel, I feel like I can do a good job, and I'm just very happy to be here.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
Like you were an excellent choice for the job. So.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's explain your position just a little bit. This is more of a ceremonial position. This isn't the strong
Yes.
mayor that everybody
Yes.
that's been in the news and stuff.
Right.
This is. Can you explain the position?
Yes, in the mayor, council city manager form of government, which we currently have, the mayor is a ceremonial position. So I represent the city, in a lot of different ways. This morning I was at the groundbreaking for the new expansion of the convention center,
Right.
and how exciting that was. And so that's part of what I will be doing, which I love because I love this community.
Right.
But also then I serve as the one who leads the city council meetings. And the purpose of having a parliamentary procedure in the meetings is simply to offer fair and orderly debate or discussion on items that come before the council.
And you've had a little bit of experience with that in the planning
Yes.
commission. You've served
Yes.
on our planning commission.
I've
for
served
quite
on
a
the
while.
planning commission for almost 6 years, and I chaired it the last 2 years I was on.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very involved in our communities. Now, you just recently attended the Association of Washington Cities Action Days, correct?
Correct.
Tell me just a little bit about. I know a little bit about it. Tell me what it is and what you gathered from that.
Well, there were actually two purposes to going to Olympia, and the first was to go to the conference of Association of Washington Cities, which was very helpful because it gives us, there were lots of little mini seminars through the event and some main speakers. But it gave, the three of us who went were all three new council persons, and so it gave us an understanding of how the Association of Washington Cities operates, the services that they offer to city council persons, mayors, and leaders, and how we can engage in that process, including further training, certainly lots of wonderful conversation exposure to leadership in other communities that have things in common, so there's a lot of time for that. And also to hear what they're legislating for, what they're lobbying for with the legislature on behalf of the cities of the state of Washington. So that was the major portion. That was Action Days. But while there, we also had opportunity to meet with the city.
The state legislature.
No, well, the city lobbyists.
Oh, the lobbyists,
right.
okay.
And the lobbyists that we have in Yakima, I think that they're very good, and they have a good relationship, good working relationship with the legislatures. So they were able to set up meetings with us, and all of our local legislatures and their representatives, that were there that we met with, were very warm and welcoming. Listened to what we had to say. And they were also very aware of what's going on in our community, which speaks well of them as legislators. They told us things we were, already were aware of and were looking at, and so it was very encouraging.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That leads us to some priorities. Now, I'm sure there are some state legislative priorities and some local priorities. Can you discuss some of the things that the council might be looking at?
Well, we discussed with them the safe routes to schools.
Right.
And, Leanna Macias is going to be working with that a lot, and I'm really encouraging her and encouraged that she wants to do that. It's been a great program. We talked with them about the financial responsibility of doing that and looking at ways the state can help give us, some funding to continue that effort, because it's a very necessary effort, in the community.
Yes.
And I have driven by and looked at many of those schools and know how, how necessary it is and how unsafe some of those walking areas are.
Right.
So that was very helpful to be able to talk about that. Something that really was probably not, on their agenda, but we also found out they were already aware of, was the closing of Estrella Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And even though it's not the city's responsibility to take care of that, I think the city needs to work with other agencies and leading partnerships in the community into how, as a community, how we're going to ensure that we still have the same high level, and we do have the same high level, but
Right.
the amount of emergency medical services available and other things that are very important. And the other half of that is 453 people laid off from work,
Right.
and the overall economic impact of that in the community. So I think that, I think as a city, we need to be talking with other leaders in the community about how we can move through this process together as a community. So that was certainly one thing as well. I have been, we had an opportunity to talk with legislators about the I-976 situation,
Yes.
which is of concern to everybody. And we realistically are not going to have an answer to that until the state Supreme Court looks at it. And that's
Yeah.
probably going to be late in the fall and into next year.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we have to live within our budget without those funds. Even if the funds are collected, they have to be held until a decision is made.
Right.
So it's going to be the city working together on how we, we live within our budget and means to do that.
Right.
We have a levy lid lift coming up in February on the
Yes.
ballot. And I really don't have any idea how that's going to go. But I will say this, that if the voters are not willing to support that right now, I think we can come back to them with, in my thinking, something that is more specific. So for example, the fire department can say, we're going to be aging out 3 fire trucks in the next 5 years, and this is exactly how much it's going to cost us to replace them.
Yes.
The police department can talk about, this is what we need in terms of officers, or this is what we need in terms of technology to ensure that our officers can be very expedient in what they're doing.
Right.
And this is how much it's going to cost.
Right.
So safe streets. This is how much we need to complete that project. And because most of those money, all of those money is going to go toward public safety and our parks as well, for the parks to put forward. This is what we need to do, and this is how much money it's going to take in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So that the voters will know specifically where the money is going to go, can look to the city to be accountable for that. And then I'd also like to see a sunset clause. The reason I say that is because if we do a good job and we're held accountable and we follow through with what we say we're going to do, then if it comes opportunity to continue that, I think we'll be in good standing to ask the voters to do that.
Yeah.
So that's just
interesting concept.
yes, that's just my idea of it.
Right. Now, is there any local things that you would like to see the city work to improve?
Well, certainly the safe routes to schools
Right.
is the most critical.
Yeah.
A critical issue.
Yes.
right?
Yes. There are many.
There are many things.
We could go down.
We could go down the list, right? And so, I just think that I'd like to see us continue building relationships with partners in the community. So, for example, the Downtown Strategic Planning Committee is meeting again, and Councilman Brad Hill is heading that, and so working with some very specific things, working with them to help. Let's look at the plan and how can we incrementally take those steps forward. I would like to have ongoing conversation with the Central Washington Home Builders, with the Realtors Association, with the Chamber of Commerce about how can we as a city, policy-wise, support the things that you want to see happen in the community so that development can take place and business can take place and we can continue on a road of economic development and prosperity here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about community image a little bit. I know you've been very involved in trying to get the image of Yakima out there, and you're a huge fan of Yakima, as I am. What do you think the sense of community pride and the image of Yakima is in Yakima right now?
Well, it's interesting. When I first moved here, it was, I've been here 41 years, so we're looking back over a period of time. But when I first moved here, I heard a lot of negative things, a lot of negative self-image about the community. And I've always been, a positive person. I'm kind of a Pollyanna in a lot of ways. I'll admit that. So I found a lot of good things, and I'll tell you one thing that I have found about the city is that it is probably the most generous community I have ever lived in terms of financial resources and volunteerism and time. It just never fails to amaze me how responsive our city is in that sense. And I think we need to give each other attaboys for that. We need to recognize for that. Certainly one thing I think that would really help people in their view of the city is to be more involved. Right. To make a commitment to do something this year that's going to be in service to the city or your community, in service to your community. Right. One of the examples I love to use is that our schools, we have a lot of students, in compromising situations in our schools, single parent household, parent in prison, or alcohol in the home, lots of things that really might hinder them as students. Yeah. But we've had 19 churches come forward. So 19 of the 20-something schools in our school district have been adopted by people in the churches who go in and do all kinds of wonderful things to help the school. They can help with reading in the classroom, they can help at recess, they can, go on field trips, they can be there to sit with children during breakfast and lunch and just kind of be a positive, adult figure for them to talk to, that they can listen. So there's just some amazing ways that people can contribute with just a little bit of time, just a couple of hours a week. And so I really want to encourage the community of Yakima to step forward, to take a risk, to do something you haven't done before, and engage in building up the positive things about your community. Because it's amazing to me, and I'm going to get off in a little bit here.
Go ahead.
The arts community that we have,
right.
From music to drama to artistic expression of all kinds, we have amazing things for a community this size, and I brag on that all the time. To my friends who live in California, my family and other people, it's like, we have so much going on here, you just can't believe it.
And they have to drive hours to get to some of the things
they
that we
do.
have right
They have
here.
to drive hours, and that's right here in town for us. Yeah. And the fact that we are geographically located where we are, the great weather we have, the sporting opportunities and events we have, it just never ceases to amaze me. I can't say enough good things about our city.
Yeah, we've had some wonderful winter days with sunny sunshine and 60 degrees.
That's part of the 310 days a year of sunshine.
Exactly. And I've lived here my whole life. I'm a huge fan of our community. And,
yes, I know you are.
Sometimes it takes the Pollyannas to keep us going, to keep us motivated. So we've covered a lot of ground. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to say to our viewers out there that we need to get out there to the people?
Oh gosh, I feel like I've said so much. Just to be encouraged. Right. We need to keep working together as a community. All the people that live in our community, all the agencies that are working in our community, we all need to recognize what we have, that we all have the same hopes and dreams and visions and for the future, for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And we need to come to places of agreement and continue to work together to accomplish those things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Work together just a little bit can get us a long way.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's all I have, if that's all you want to talk about today.
It really is today. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for joining me today. And thank you for joining us on Yakima on Target. To contact Yakima Mayor Patricia Byers about City of Yakima business, email patricia.byers@yakimawa.gov or call the City of Yakima at 509-575-6040.
Stay on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
Almost there.
What?
For more information on YPAC programming, please call 575-6092.